Bro, I've got two more questions here, and they kind of go hand in hand. So I'm gonna basically ask these to you at the same time. All right, they're the same question, just I've flipped the subject in both of them.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna end it out like this before we play a little game together. So the question is the two questions are rather. First of all, I'm gonna let you just talk to our people. You don't have to talk to me now. Okay. I'm gonna let you talk to our people. How would you encourage families to partner with their church if that partnership doesn't already exist or isn't already taking place? And then on the flip side, how would you encourage church leaders to partner with the families of their congregation if that partnership doesn't already exist?
It's a really difficult thing to make a stand for Christ in a world that is becoming more and more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had some of the most encouraging conversations recently with young men in their 30s who have just had kids and who are pregnant and who are looking at the future for the first time, aside from just them and their wife or them and their singleness. The first thing I would say to partner with the church, man, what you want to do is you want to know that and let people know that you're in this for the long haul, that you're not going to cherry pick situations, that you want to build something, that you want to really stick around and build something for your family.
That's good.
And by that, it's been easy to talk to these young men about their futures because now not only are they responsible for the spiritual tone when it comes to their wife, but now they got a kid that they got to figure out, how am I going to make sure that this person hears about Christ in the proper way?
Mm-hmm.
Because a father sets the tone for all that. What we know
right.
is when we were kids is that our fathers, we learned everything from our fathers one way or another. We learned how to treat our moms. We learned how to act in very difficult situations. We learned how to almost order in a restaurant. We learned how to be a group when we went to the mall. We learned from our fathers in his presence.
Mm-hmm.
And I would encourage you as a pastor, because usually when folks, bail out on the church, it's usually for some cheesy thing. Seldom is it heresy. Seldom is it
That's true.
meanness. So it's usually because I can go somewhere else, it seems more attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Our kids don't need bouncers. They don't need people bouncing from place to place. And I know the culture is just about that. We don't have much patience. Be patient with your staff. Be patient and build something together.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at church like this is just something you're going to do, is like I got a big bookshelf over there that if you're going to look at Sundays and go, I got a choice today. I got the beach, I got church, I got golf, I got fishing, I got all those things. If church just becomes a choice of many, then you're not likely interested in building anything. Mm-hmm. What your kids are going to see if you decide to build something is that you really are captured by Christ, or you're not captured by Christ. What they're going to hear is what you talk about when you leave the church, about what somebody was wearing, about something that the pastor said, about
and
then by the time they're 15, their formation of ideas of church have already happened on those car rides to and from church. So build something because your kids need it from you. Be willing to be patient with your staff, partner with them in that you're working together. Take what's bought, slice it up and feed it to the kids, right? Yeah. So we're moving to everybody hears the same thing on Sunday model. But we also realize the importance of consistency. We realize the importance of determination to where things get bad. Be willing to build something. Partner with the church, partner with your staff to build something versus just come in every Sunday and do a job or sing a song, that kind of thing. Invest yourself in the life of the church. Invest yourself with your staff. Love your staff. And I'll just say this from a personal standpoint, the most vulnerable time of my life is when I stand up on that stage behind the pulpit and preach to people. Because I know that the things that I'm saying are being thought of as like, this dude has lost his ever-loving mind. Or there's no way I can do that. Or he's an idiot. Or, you know what I mean? So we open ourselves up for all that stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
And then we hear this when we go out. Man, it was a really good service.
Yeah, despite any thought that's in someone's head. It's,
and then next week we don't hear that. And I was like, well, what the crap happened? Was that a good service or was that not a good
yeah.
service? Now, am I basing my identity on that? But the truth is, and partner with your staff. Look for something where you can build, where you can raise your kids, and know that there's going to be changes, knowing that the world has changed.
Yeah.
The world has changed. We have to adapt and pivot and get right in front of it so we can face it rather than get off to the side and watch it go by. People's eternities are at stake, especially your kids. You want to make sure that your kids are going to hear the gospel and they're going to be taught the gospel, and you're going to be equipped to share the gospel and continue to disciple them. That's what I would say to a parent looking to partner with a church. I would say as pastors, man, the first thing is we got to be self-aware, and this is the hardest thing. We spend all week, looking at it. We're preaching through Romans right now.
That's not an easy feat.
Yeah, I think every Monday morning,
your eyebrows there, just like
every morning I want to stick a pencil in my ear. That's how. Because the first 3 chapters are like, geez, man, can we get a little grace in here? I mean,
yeah, really.
But I think as a staff, what you want to be able to do as a pastor is that you want to be self-aware of this. Like, not everybody's into the theological things that you're into. Not everybody's into the like arrived at the same place that you've taken a week or 10 days or even 2 weeks to arrive at.
Yeah.
Our self-awareness is that, man, people drag stuff into the church. People drag stuff because that's your life. They're dealing with crisis. Some people are dealing with abuse, addiction. Kids, they have no idea where their kids are. Hadn't heard from their kids in a long time. Kids are involved in things at a young age now that shocks us.
Oh, I know.
But it's the world we live in, and people are dragging this in, and we forget as pastors and ministers that this is the place to bring that. The encouragement to lay that stuff down at the cross and to lay this stuff down and sacrifice it on the altar of worship is the right place to be. So even if you were out last night having just a heck of a time chasing women and you're back home in the midst and you've neck deep in your sin, you need to be at church, and we need to realize that people are dealing with those things as they come in. We're not dealing with just a bunch of Christians who have perfect lives. We're dealing with broken people with broken lives, looking for some hope. And all the hope that they need is a 2-watt light bulb to keep them from stubbing their toe in the middle of the night. Just a little bit of hope to make it through the day is what some of these folks are dealing with. And man, if I don't understand that, and I think that I stand up on that stage or behind that pulpit and I'm the great orator and the great announcer of all things prophetic, then I've missed the point. And the reason I talk so passionately about this is that, man, when Jesus is talking to John about the 7 churches in Revelation, he talks about the church of Ephesus. And he tells John, he said, man, this is what I love about you. You guys got your doctrine down. You guys got it figured out. But you lost your first love. And here's what makes that so impactful to me, bro. John was the pastor of that church. And so was Paul. And so was Timothy. All right. So we got all these guys who laid down the foundation for theological giants. But not only did they stop loving people, they stopped loving God and fell in love with their doctrine and their abilities. Now, can you imagine, just for a moment, John's already been boiled alive and he's out there on this island trying to heal. Can you imagine in the presence of Almighty God, Jesus saying, man, I kind of dig what you did, but you really jumped the shark on this, bro. I mean, I love you and everything. I do. And I want you to know that I appreciate what you've done, but you missed it. Can you imagine? I mean, that moment to where John realizes, wait a minute, are we talking about First Baptist Ephesus where I was at? Or are we talking about Community Baptist over and on the backside of Ephesus? Because, I remember when I first realized that, and I thought, geez, this church had all the teachers, all the famous guys that we look back on. And Jesus didn't hold back and saying, I love you for this, but you really missed this. And I kind of feel like he was telling John, you of all people should know because you were the disciple that I loved. And I just remember thinking and hearing the words, we have to be self-aware as pastors and ministers, knowing that we're trying to step into dirty rough, hurtful, horrible situations and bring
Yeah.
hope in Christ through salvation and repentance. And I feel like sometimes we miss that because we have this great thing to say,
Yeah.
and nobody's going to remember it anyway. They'll just
Hey,
remember if you were there.
that's right, man. And I think this whole thing with nonstop families, what we're trying to do and trying to um, encourage family worship and stuff like that. One of the things that we've got to be really, really careful of is knowing that, you know, there are so many broken homes. There are so many situations that we are completely oblivious to, that this particular family who we want to encourage to do family worship. Okay, well, that's great. That's great. But where are they at right now? Let's find that first. Let's find out where they are right now, and let's show them the love of Christ. And because Jesus said, when you love one another, you're going to show the rest of the world that you're my disciples. That people are going to come to know Christ by the way we love each other, man. And listen, I'm not one that stands up here and just says, well, all we have to do is love. I mean, I'm not that guy. I'm not. But we have to understand what love is biblically. We have to understand what the love of Christ is biblically, and then we have to put that into practice. And that's very different from what our culture wants it to be. And here's the really hard pill to swallow, is the fact that in a lot of senses, it's very different from what a lot of church leaders think it is too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. So I heard something on a podcast that I listened to regular yesterday that I kind of put it into practice at our service last night. I mean, there are words that this dude called the tender words of Jesus. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Not the Pharisaic conversations, but the words that he had with people, like like with the leper. If you will make me well, or if you can make me whole, and I will.
Yeah.
Or who condemns you?
It's good.
Peter, man, don't be afraid. Those kind of things, those tender words. And I think sometimes we forget about the need for that. Now, it's interesting as we stand in front of people. And what I love about you guys is that I'm not a big fan of this whole stand in the gap thing, because I believe Jesus filled the gap. But you guys are, as a ministry, really filling a gap that needs to be filled as a reminder that there's a need here that's moved you to make some pretty serious choices for you and your family. I mean, it's not like a willy-nilly kind of thing. I mean, it's costing you something to do this. And what I love about it, though, is that it's so right on point because we've been in such a place for so long that we've forgotten the tender words of Jesus. So yes, I will heal you. Where is he who condemns you? Neither do I, kind of thing. We forget those, and we need people to come alongside the church who have a heart for this and remind us that, hey, there's broken people out here that don't get into your vernacular, that don't understand some of the things that you're trying to say people who are lost, or to lost people who have come to know Christ. And there's this balance that we got to walk. And I love how you guys are doing that. It starts with the responsibility of the home, and you as the father, and your wife Ashley, as you guys have decided, man, we want to invest our lives in this because it's made a difference for us. And watching videos, now I've met your kids. I've met all of them.
Yeah.
He
has, man. Jeff has been to my home. I mean, we go way back.
One of them rifled through my bag, I remember that night, and was kind of carrying off my stuff. That was kind of funny.
We looked over and he's just going through Jeff's stuff. Never met Jeff before in his life, and next thing you know, oh, what's this?
I think it was my beard stuff. Anyway, but what I loved about what I loved about being with you guys that night, man, it was evident then is that and you're deliberately discipling. Like, it's not a passive discipleship. And deliberate means work, and deliberate means schedule, and deliberate means purpose. And I think the one thing that we need as families today, especially in the churches, is that deliberate opportunity and a decision that we know is based in Scripture.
Yeah.
So it's not some theoretical thing. I mean, some of the things we talk about, obviously, when it comes to these, some of these are theoretical until you put them into practice. That's just the bottom line. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you got to stick with it. And I love the fact that even though I regret in my life as a father and as a pastor the way that I discipled my own kids, that doesn't mean I just give up on discipleship.
That's right. That's
that
right.
doesn't mean I have to stop thinking about that. Now I'm in a different generation. Now I'm in a different situation in my home. Okay, so this is important enough to where we have to make time for it, even in the hectic lives of everybody who lives there. And a schedule is the one thing that we can do.
Yeah.
So when we start talking about these things, man, this is not like the typical. It's not rocket science, for crying out loud. You love your kid, and you would give anything. You would give anything for your kid to be both successful and happy. But we set a tone for them to understand, man, when they give their lives to Christ, he becomes the treasure that he is in their lives. And all we got to do is light that fire and watch it burn. And who knows what's going to happen there?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the saying? The old guy that said the world has not yet seen what the Spirit could do with one person who's fully yielded to him.
Yeah.
One person.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're still that way. We've seen a bunch of movements, but who's to say who the next generation of these people are? It could be our kids if we would just take the time to show them and put them in a position to where they can learn and see us captivated. I know this, bro. I know my dad. I love my dad. It was his birthday yesterday. He's been gone, passed away 30 years ago. And so back when I was a kid, man, there was this thing out in California. We lived in California for a few months because he was in the produce trucking business. And it was called a lay renewal movement back in the 70s. And man, my dad got on fire. I mean, got on fire. He was traveling all over California, speaking into churches. And he was part of this literal history movement in California, a movement of don't just give it to the pastor. We're responsible too, lay people who are, and I just remember thinking, what happened to my daddy? You know, and there was something about that the older I got, and I realized I looked it up, and after he had gone on to be with the Lord, and he struggled up and down like everybody does, and he ended up, when he passed away, I ended up looking up some of that, and I thought, man, it's like in the history books, like in California Baptist history, like that was a thing.
Oh, wow.
My old man was involved with it. I just remember being so proud, like even in his struggles with the church and his struggles with sanctification and his struggles with faith, and the Lord used him. And what better thing to be said by our kids than after we're going to go, man, I remember my dad got saved.
Yeah,
that brother, he was crazy, but something happened to him. Like he was captivated by Christ. He was mesmerized by the glory of the Lord. I used to watch him sing on Sunday morning, and he was totally honed in to the Spirit. I remember hearing my mom sing, and I remember listening to my grandma. And so these whole things become memories that the Spirit uses to incite kids into memory to pass that on. So, man, we're just a bunch of rednecks from Mississippi. That's where I'm from, right? But, man, my mom and daddy set some tone. My mama was baptized in a creek out behind the church.
Oh man, yeah.
So
hey, I've done some baptisms in creeks, man, with snow on the ground, no less. All right.
Well, that's because you crazy redneck. We ain't that. Well, yeah, man. I think ultimately the way that we approach faith as parents is the catalyst that gives us legitimacy. Now we roll into family devotion. And we just ain't been nothing but rude, mean, grumpy, and grouchy for 3 months. Them kids ain't going to listen to nothing we say.
You're right. That's
we got to be captivated by Christ, and we got to be portraying forgiveness and hope all the time. Not perfection. Certainly, our kids don't expect us to be perfect. But, man, that captivation does something to a kid. It lodges right there in their mind.
Yeah. Man.
Is that a question or?
I don't know. It was good. It was good. Wow. Jensen, man, I appreciate you so much. It's been awesome just getting to hang out with you, but we're not done. We're not done. Our topic of discussion is over, but now we've come to the point to where a lot of people that tune in, they benefit from everything that's just been said, but they just like to laugh a little bit. All right. And so we're going to do something right now. We're going to play a little game. And as far as I'm concerned, and it's not happened yet, but we'll see. It has nothing to do with your spiritual life whatsoever, unless it's just having joy and talking to each other. So we'll see what happens. We're going to play 5 questions with Jeff Fields. Here we go. All right, Jeff, this is the way it works, man. I'm going to ask you 5 questions that you are going to give me the answer to. Do you have any prior knowledge to these questions whatsoever?
No.
None. And I'm the only one who knows what I'm about to ask him. So when he hears these, you're going to be hearing them for the first time. The people watching are going to be hearing for the first time. And so, yeah, here we go. And I get to decide whether they're right or wrong. And what I love about it is it's not trivia questions. They're open-ended, opinionated questions. So I get to shoot them down if I want to. So this is great. Jeff, I will let you know that based on my judgment, we have never had a perfect 5 for 5 on the program, okay?
So, good.
No pressure, man. No pressure. Just as long as you say something I agree with, you're fine. All right? That's all that matters. All right, question number 1, Jeff. What song do you have to sing along to when you hear it being played?
Free Bird.
Jeff. Jeff, okay, here's my dilemma, Jeff. My dilemma is that you answered that so quickly and authoritatively. And listen, I had my Skinner days, all right? I had my Skinner days, but I grew out of those, Jeff, all right?
Oh, I detect a little heresy in the air today.
All right, look, me and Jeff agree on a lot of things. We really, really do. We get along great. But this is one of those areas where if we were in the same room and Freebird came on, I probably... And I think I was just burnt out on it. Listen, it's an epic song. Don't get me wrong. And honestly, and here's my dilemma, Jeff. I'm actually going to consider this a correct answer. All right? I'm gonna give you a correct answer here, because I will admit, as much as I may not like to when it comes on, I sing it too. But I think
somewhere, right now, even right now, somebody's got a lighter going, yelling Freebird.
Somebody's in front of their phone right now watching this with their lighter. That's what they're doing. And I'll tell you why, Jeff. I'll tell you why I think I got burnt out on it is because where I'm from, all right, where I'm from, Jeff, all right, you're in Florida. You've lived in Mississippi. You've lived out in California, right? Okay. Where I'm from, you almost can't go to a piano recital without some dude in the back going, play some Freebird, you know? You really can't. So I'm going to give it to you in spite of my personal feelings about it.
Misgivings, I get that.
So there we go. It's
right.
Let's see, when this is going to be airing, we've just passed Thanksgiving. So hey, just consider it a little
gift. Okay.
A little gift between Thanksgiving and going on to Christmas. So there we go.
Is there a prize here? No. Okay.
My admiration.
I had a fried bologna sandwich in that restaurant.
Hey, that's right. That's right. That was a killer bologna sandwich, man.
That's good.
Oh, man.
Florida, Kentucky, and I got, what do you want to eat? Fried bologna sandwich. That's pretty good.
Man, we taking you out good, bye. All right? We're going to go eat on the town, fried bologna. Wow. And cranberry ginger ale. Man. All right, question number 2. I'm excited about this one. I'm excited about a few of these, actually. Okay. If coffee were illegal, what would its street name be? Careful.
Juan's donkey. There's another word there that I was going to use, but I'm just trying to be nice.
Oh, that is correct. That is correct. Juan's donkey.
Was that his name? The commercial that they used to have, Juan Valdez?
Yeah. I think so. I don't. Oh gosh. You know, Jeff. I'll be honest with you. There are times when we get to 5 questions where I begin to question things myself, and this may be one of those right there. It's always a good time. Juan's donkey. That is correct. We're going to give that one to you. So you're 2 for 2 so far. Number 1, I have some emotional issues attached to that one, but we're getting through things. All right, number 3. I almost can't go on. That was really good. Question number 3. No one with superpowers is allowed here. Okay, so you can't say somebody with superpowers. If you were in a wrestling match, which cartoon character would you pick to be your tag team partner?
Johnny Bravo.
Yes, correct. Number 3. Is ego considered a superpower? I don't know.
If it is, he has it. There's no
That's
question
true.
about that.
Johnny Bravo. I'm just imagining him wrestling now, and it is just it's gold, man. It's what that's so good. Wow. Gosh, I'm gonna come up with tag.
Remember, this was your idea.
No, you're right. You know, I take full responsibility for this. All right, that's great. Not so. I don't know about Juan's donkey, but or whatever else was gonna be said.
Yeah, that could have went either way.
Johnny Bravo, that's fantastic. Yes. All right. I think there is one correct answer to this next question, Jeff. All right.
Okay.
I think there's one, but I'm open to discussion and debate.
Okay.
But considering your name itself, if you were a DJ, what would your DJ name be?
That's pretty good.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking time for this.
Yeah, the typical one. I would probably say fat back and meat sweats, something like that.
Wait a minute, what? Say that again.
Fat back and the meat sweats.
Fat back and the meat sweats. Oh my goodness. I was just thinking DJ Jazzy Jeff because that was an actual guy.
I was thinking that too, but that is way too simple.
That was way too simple. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, what can he come up with? Fat? What? What was that? What did you? Do you even remember what you just said?
Yeah, fat back in the meat sweats. I think that's a back in the holler band. You know what I mean? Ain't really
back in the meat sweats.
But we got a mandolin there and probably a couple of guitars with 3 strings, that kind of thing.
And you're doing turntables up front?
We're trying to. I'm not sure that we have electricity in all the places that we go.
Got it. All right. You're just literally got a record and you're up there with keys going. Wow. Fat back in the meat sweats. You know what?
That's a good answer. You know that's a good answer.
That is good. That is a great answer. I'm totally giving you credit for that one. So you've got 4 for 4, man. You've got 4 for 4, and we have reached, in my opinion, what is usually the most difficult question. The last guy I interviewed, he got 4 for 4. He got to this one, and he did not get this right because this is our challenge question, okay? And since we're close to Christmas, all right, it's Christmas related, and I have I'll get to that question here in a second. It's just how we're going to end it. But here is your question. I'm going to give you 10 seconds on the clock. You need to name 3 things in a specific category, okay? You got 10 seconds to name 3 things, and it will start when I finish reading the question. The question is, name 3 songs that... Let me make sure I got this right. I want to make sure I worded this correctly. I don't have it on an actual piece of paper. Okay, all right, here we go. All right, I'll start that again. Let me get my clock back up here. All right, Jeff, here we go. Name 3 songs that mention Santa Claus in the lyrics. Go.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
That's 1.
Bruce Springsteen's and Merry Christmas, Baby.
It's 10 seconds, man. That's 10 seconds. Did you get the second one in? I heard you say Bruce Springsteen.
I said Bruce Springsteen, but I didn't mention the name of the song. I think that was Santa Claus is coming to town. Yeah, so.
You said that one first.
I did.
All right. Well, listen, man. All the open-ended questions, you totally, even the Freebird one. I'll even let Freebird pass for me today. Okay. So 4 out of 5. The challenge question always kind of gets people. Not bad. Oh man. Now I've got one more Christmas-related question to ask you, and you probably get this question a lot. All right. I'm gonna ask you a personal question here, Jeff. Have you ever played Santa? I mean, come on, dude. The beard, it's the obvious question to ask at this point.
It would be obvious, but you'd think but I have not.
Never played? Is that a bucket list for you or not?
No, it's not. Well, no, man. The funny thing, though, is around this time of the year when I go out to lunch with my wife or we go somewhere to eat, these little kids about 3 to 5 years old look at me and they stop in their tracks and they go,
oh, I bet, man.
Yeah, and last year we were sitting in front of a family with a small kid. He was probably about 4. And I heard him whisper to his mom. He goes, "Mommy, is that Christmas?"
Is that
So,
Christmas?
yeah, talking about me. And my wife has a picture.
You are Christmas.
My wife has a picture of me sitting in this booth, and the kid is leaning around.
Oh, no way.
And we got a picture of his head sticking around looking at me. I told him, I know what's going on back there. And so I play into it like, and parent will stop and say, well, they think you're Santa Claus. And I'm like, well, I'm on vacation. So you being good? I mean, that kind of thing is always kind of fun. But no, I have never played Santa.
Well, that's surprising, man. It's surprising. And then one last thing I've got to ask, because I've been dying to ask it. I didn't want to interrupt our topic. Do you have a beard on your shirt that's not yours? Okay, that's what I thought. That's genius.
Yeah. So I have, man, people get me all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's this company out of California that sells these shirts, and I probably have 5 or 6 of them.
Wow. Well, Jeff, hey, man,
Captain
seriously.
Obvious kind of thing.
Yeah, I think so. Man, hey, brother, I love you. Thank you so much for just coming and being on the program with me today, man. And I appreciate what you guys are doing down there in Jensen Beach. You guys got a special place in my heart, man. Always have since I've known you. And I'm very, very, very thankful for your faithfulness to the gospel and what you're doing down there. Let's remind our people watching real quick how they can touch base with your ministry down there.
Yeah, so if you want to send me an email, jeff@fbjb.com. fbjb.com is the website. Again, we're just some people trying to love the Lord down here. It's not like we got nothing special happening outside of the gospel. And I'll tell you the same thing, bro. There was a connection when we first met that felt like something would eventually evolve with that. And what you guys are doing matters to the kingdom, bro. So be encouraged with that. I'm thankful that just for a little bit I can just talk about how it's needed and talk about the importance of it as we go forward. And I would say now more than ever in a culture that's becoming more and more aggressive to the family itself, being grounded and being decisive about where we stand and teaching our kids is the thing that's going to set us apart going forward, as it was initially.
That's right.
So I think families are struggling right now. And man, when we say things like we need all the help we can get, obviously we have the Spirit to guide us, but the Spirit also raises up people like you and your sweet wife and your family to be examples of what that can look like. So, man, just know that you prayed for on a regular basis as well. I'm thankful for you.
Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, man.
Man, thank you guys. Thanks so much, bro. Again, thanks so much for tuning in, and we will. I'll talk with you soon.
It was fun.
All right, thanks, man.